You're right on that. Now, and this is going to lead to another question, is it better to, if you have the ability to purchase, regardless if it's 6 months ago, a year ago when stuff was booming, and right now we're in this weird little flux, is it worth buying a house compared to renting a property? I know location, it's opinions.
Rent versus buy, it's all dependent upon personal situation.
Okay.
I mean, if you're not going to hold it for a while, then you should not be buying. And that's true of any given market.
Okay.
You make sure you're going to live there for a while. You want to make sure that you have a steady financial situation, steady career, steady business, whatever it is. Make sure that you have an emergency fund. Make sure that you're not stretching yourself with your payment. But that's just common sense. You know, it's not like
you say it's common sense, but it's not common sense. Not everybody's taught financial literacy.
Right. Well, yeah.
But I mean, come on. My kids are 15, 14, and 12. And no matter how much I try to ingrain it to them, man, they get $5. They want to go to the dollar store, the $5 store. I mean, there's even adults that live on that same principle.
there are. So yeah, be wise with your finances, but it's not really a technical answer to your question.
Okay.
It's really just, you know,
it depends.
Yeah, be wise with your finances, and that's the first conversation I have with people. I never recommend people go out and buy the most house they can afford.
Well, either do I.
Situation changes tomorrow.
Well, that's true. Like I was working with one buyer, $500,000, and he was looking at homes in the $400,000 range, which I 100% agree with.
Yeah.
Because the question I always ask him is, a loan officer is going to get you approved for what you can get approved for.
Yeah.
But heck, if your spouse has a Starbucks habit, that's a couple $1,000s a year. You may not be able to afford that $500,000 house. That $400,000 is realistic now.
We don't take, for the record, y'all, we do not take Starbucks into account when calculating your debt-to-income ratio. So we're looking at things that show up on your credit report. We're looking at monthly expenditures. We're not looking at discretionary spending or the lifestyle you want to live. So when it comes to lifestyle expenditures, take that into account, right? How much extra money do you need? And that's why we got to have that conversation, right? That's why we're not just a commodity. That's why you're not just going to go and point and click and say, hey, this is the mortgage for me. It's all dependent upon your current situation and your future goals, and we're going to tailor your mortgage to fit those goals. Okay,
because as a realtor, I have clients sit down and go, hey, I want to buy this house.
Yeah.
Like I said, this one I'm approved for. I go, hey, let's really look at this. Yeah. Have you looked at your closing cost as a buyer? When this house closes, you're putting either 3.5% down, 5%, VA loan, nothing. You may be putting 20% down. It depends on your loan that you'll discuss with them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, can you close? Do you have the money to close? And so a realtor should be providing that buyer a buyer's closing sheet.
Yeah.
Now, that's not 100% accurate. I always say go talk to the mortgage company. They can provide you a different statement, that's similar. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the title company.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know a lot of
until the title company.
Until you're further into the process. We have a good estimate. But it's also important to remember that we are seeing unheard of seller concessions in this market. So sellers could potentially be covering a lot of those costs. It's not always on the buyer to cover those title costs or to cover other loan costs, etc. So.
No, you're right. And that's, so that brings on that's the third party of the title company.
Yeah.
That's a whole other subject. So you got a buyer, you got a seller, you got two realtors, you got the loan agent, loan officer, and then you got the title company. So before we leave, is there anything else you want to add?
Buy real estate when you can afford it, as you can afford it, and hold it for a long time. That's how real wealth is built through real estate. Don't buy something you can't afford, don't over leverage yourself, and certainly don't sell too soon. Money is made when you buy, not when you sell.
True, and then there's also by having, I always call it the team. As a buyer or a seller, it's one thing if you're doing a residential property, and even if you start getting to the commercial and buying multiple properties, doing leasing, etc. I always tell people it's a business decision, and you need to have a team. So that's your accountant, your enrolled agent, which does taxes, an attorney. Your loan officer, your realtor, you're a team at the end of the day. We all want to see you financially wealthy. Because if you're making money, we're all making money, let's be honest. We don't want to see you fail. And so,
do you mean to tell me that it's not a zero-sum game?
I heard a joke once, so I'm going to tell you this joke. Okay. So I had a friend, trying to buy real estate in Egypt.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be a pyramid scheme. I think, is that how we end this?
Yeah, I think we need to end this at this point.
Okay.